digital natives, those who were born after 1980 who have access and skills to use digital technologies, especially social media. So, from the meaning itself, those who were born after 1980, which means they basically grew up with technology which is already around them. They are used to gadgets, internet, and especially social media. For them, using phones, computers, and online platforms feels totally natural and easy for them. Example of this is our Gen Z and millennials. So next part is digital immigrants. So digital immigrants are those people who were born prior to 1980, who were not born into the digital world but have at some later point in our lives become amazed by and adapted many or most aspects of the new technology. So digital immigrants are people who were born before 1980. They didn't grow up with today's digital technology, which means no Wi-Fi, no smartphones, no social medias when they were kids. But as technology evolved, these people adapted. So they learn how to use computers, social medias, smartphones, Wi-Fi, and everything. The downside of this is sometimes it might take them more time to adjust or to learn how to use these technologies correctly and efficiently. So let's move on to digital footprints. So, digital footprints, or also known as a digital shadow, refers to the unique and traceable set of digital activities, actions, contributions, and communications made by an individual through the internet or on digital devices. In other words, it is the record of a person's online presence, including every search made, website visited, message sent, or photo uploaded. So these traces of online behavior collectively form a person's digital footprint. So, meron tayong dalawang type of digital footprint which is passive and active. First, the passive digital footprint is created when data about a person is collected without their direct awareness or permission. So, this usually occurs when websites or online platforms automatically gather information such as IP addresses, browsing history, or location data. These details are stored in online databases, often referred to as hits, and can be used for analytics, advertising, or system improvements. Second is the active digital footprint, which is generated when a user intentionally shares personal information or engages in online activities. This includes posting content on social media, creating online profiles, uploading files, sending emails, etc. etc. In this case, the user deliberately contributes to their online identity, which becomes part of their digital record. Um, to sum it up, overall, both passive and active digital footprints contributes to a person's overall digital identity, which represents how individuals are perceive online based on their behavior, information, and interactions in digital environments.
Digital identity. From the word itself, identity o pagkakakilanlan ng isang individual sa paggamit ng gadgets o digital na kagamitan. So, these are the usernames and digital footprint that individuals chose and leave behind after using internet for different purposes such as banking or purchasing goods. So, bali siya yung nag stored ng mga personal na impormasyon sa ating mga gadgets at application platform. Specifically, yung mga impormasyon na yon is naglalaman ng ating mga username, password, biometrics such as fingerprints and face scanner, and lastly is valid ID numbers na ginagamit natin upang ma-verify ang ating digital identity online. Ang digital identity na ito ay ginagamit natin sa pag-access ng iba't ibang application tulad ng digital services gaya ng online marketing at online transactions tulad ng online banking. At sa paggawa o pag-access ng ating mga account sa iba't ibang platform tulad ng social media at games. Iilan lamang ito sa mga halimbawa ng mga nabanggit. Ngunit marami pa tayong pwedeng paggamitan ng ating digital identity dahil nagsiserve po ito bilang profiles na ine-ensure ng mga online systems, features, and sa atin, the user itself, ang seguridad na maiwasan ng identity theft at fraud sa ating mga personal data privacy na ginagamit sa pang-i-scam ng ibang tao. Without digital identity, we are considered as anonymous at walang access sa paggamit ng mga platforms. As it mentioned a while ago by the previous reporter, digital footprint are like a trail of footsteps. Kumbaga, siya yung history sa mga application platforms like search history, watch history, etc. na nakatutulong upang matrace natin ang ating mga past activities sa paggamit ng gadgets at mga digital na kagamitan. At yung digital footprint na ito ay may dalawang klase, which is yung passive and active digital footprints. Magsimula muna tayo sa passive digital footprint. So ito yung trail or bakas ng ating mga data na kung saan ito ay kinokolekta ng hindi natin namamalayan o nalalaman. Halimbawa nito, yung sa mga pinupuntahan natin na website na kung saan may lumalabas na agree or disagree cookies. At itong mga cookies na ito, hindi siya yung literal na cookies na kinakain. Pero ito yung mga impormasyon o activities na kinokolekta ng isang website para ma-save yung activities na ginawa mo sa isang website na yon. Tulad ng sa pagla-login, pagre-register o anumang agreement para hindi mo na siya uulitin next time na pagbisita mo sa website na yon. Maliban sa cookies, ang iba pang halimbawa ng passive digital footprints ay yung pagkuha ng ating mga IP address or internet protocol at data location tulad ng Google Maps at pag-monitor ng iyong browsing history sa website na yon. So ano nga ba ang purpose ng passive digital footprint? Ang purpose nito ay una is yung profiling o yung paggawa ng digital identity para malaman yung user's behavior, preference, at interest tulad ng cookies na nabanggit kanina. Pangalawa ay targeted advertising. Kung napapansin nyo na may lumalabas na mga notification sa inyong mga gadgets about sa website na pinuntahan nyo, ibig sabihin is nag-agree ka sa terms and condition nila at sa mga notification. Parang katulad sa YouTube na hitting the bell button para maging updated ka sa mga latest na updates. So, yun po, yun. So, if you're not comfortable enough to make your data be collected without you knowing, kailangan nyo lang na i-adjust yung inyong mga privacy settings. Limiting cookies agreements, ad blockers, at maging mapanuri sa mga agreements ng terms and condition o anumang website policy. Ika nga nila na think before you click na hindi porket sinasabi nanalo ka ng iPhone 15 maniniwala ka na agad. Sa kabilang banda, meron naman tayong tinatawag na active digital footprints. At ito yung kabaligtaran ng passive digital footprints na kung saan ito naman ay yung mga data na sinishare na kung saan aware tayo. Halimbawa nito ay pag-post sa mga social medias, pag-register o fill up sa mga applications, pag-subscribe, pag-agree sa mga cookies, pag-sign in o log in ng account, ability to send message, reviews, comments, at marami pang iba na kung saan nagagawa nating makapag-provide o mag-publish ng mga impormasyon na kung saan ay may control tayo sa ating mga actions sa paggamit ng gadgets at mga digital na kagamitan. In short, active digital footprint is your participation on what you share under control.
So let's move on to the impression management. It is a conscious or subconscious process in which people attempt to influence the perception of other people about themselves, another person, object, or event. It is done by regulating and controlling information in social interaction. So, basically, ang impression management ay yung way ng tao para kontrolin o influence kung paano siya nakikita ng ibang tao. Minsan, ginagawa natin ito consciously. Ibig sabihin, intentional or sinasadya natin. Tulad ng kapag gusto nating magmukhang confident, mabait o maayos sa harap ng iba. For example, tayo binibigay natin yung best natin sa mga activities and sa pag-recite sa klase para magkaroon ng good impression sa ating yung mga teachers natin and also yung mga classmates natin. Like, iisipin nila na, ay si ganto, si ganyan, ang galing niya, ang active niya naman, ang lalim ng pagkaunawa niya. Ayun, pero minsan subconscious lang. Like automatic or natural na nag-a-adjust tayo depende sa situation o kung sino kasama natin. Halimbawa, iba kung paano tayo kumilos sa harap ng teacher. Like nagiging respectful and humble tayo sa kanila pag nakakausap natin sila. Pero pagdating sa mga tropa natin is nagiging palamura na and minsan out of boundaries na yung sinasabi natin sa kanila. So, lahat ng yon is paraan ng pagpapakita ng sarili sa parang gusto mong makita ka ng iba. So, sa social media rin, ganun din. Pinipili natin kung anong ipopost, anong pictures yung ilalagay at paano tayo magre-react sa post ng iba. Sa ganun is, nalalaman ng ibang tao kung paano mo i-approach yung social media or kung ano ka sa social media. So, however, yung impression management is not just about how we present ourselves. It is also about how we shape others' opinion of the people, things, or situations connected to us. For example, yung pag-shape ng opinion ng isang person to another person. Minsan tayo kapag nainis tayo sa mga classmates natin, nakikwento natin sa mga close friends natin, bakit tayo nainis sa kanila, ano yung mga pinaggagawa nila. So, dahil sa pagkikwento natin doon, nai-influence na rin natin yung perception ng mga friend natin about that person. Like, nagkakaroon na rin ng bad impression ng yung friend natin dahil sa mga nakikwento natin sa kanya. So, another example, pag sa things, for example, sa mga business and individuals, pag pinipresent nila yung mga products nila, ginagawa nilang appealing or aesthetically pleasing. Like gaya ng paggamit ng mga good packaging or creative advertisement, ganun, para mas maraming bumili ng product nila. So, next is understanding and creating digital self. The introduction of World Wide Web led to greater connectivity with people and information, and people with other people anywhere in the world. So, in over 15 years, sobrang nagbago na yung way ng nakikita at pinapakita ng mga tao ang sarili nila dahil sa advancement ng technology at internet. Nung na-introduce yung World Wide Web, naging mas madali na makipag-connect at makipag-communicate sa mga tao kahit saan sa mundo, na parang dati is imposible dahil email at chatrooms lang yung mga ginagamit nila para makipag-usap or communicate personally sa mga hindi nila kilala. Pero habang lumipas yung panahon, dumami na yung mga social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So, dahil dito, mas madali na para sa mga tao yung mag-share ng pictures, thoughts, at experience nila as a new way ng pagpapakilala ng sarili nila. So, sa ganitong paraan, nabubuo yung tinatawag na digital self, yung identity o image mo online. Kasama dito lahat ng pinopost mo, mga nilalike, mga pinafollow mong tao o pages, at kung paano ka nakikipag-interact sa social media. Halimbawa, nagpo-post ka ng achievements o happy moments, gusto mong ipakita na confident at successful ka. O kaya naman, kung pinollow mo yung mga inspirational accounts, pinapakita mo kung ano yung mga interest mo o kung ano yung mga role models mo sa buhay. So, lahat ng ito ay nag-iiwan ng digital footprint o yung bakas ng lahat ng mga ginagawa mo online. Iyan yung nagpo-present ng pagkatao mo sa digital world. Minsan, totoo yung nakikita ng iba. Pero minsan, pinapakita lang natin yung part ng sarili nating gusto nating makita nila.
Let's move forward now to implications of the creation of digital self. Newsweek recently featured mounting evidence that intense internet usage contributes to increased anxiety and depression and even psychosis. These findings and observations indicate that although the things posted on social media or the presented digital self does not necessarily show the real self of the individual. So it means, yung mga pinopost natin sa social media is pili na siya. Like, kumbaga, pinipili natin yung image na gusto natin makita ng ibang tao. Halimbawa, nag-shared post ako about something positive, but behind those screen is sobrang lungkot ko. But it doesn't mean na hindi na ako yon. Sadyang, mas gusto ko lang na positive or like maganda yung makikita sa akin ng ibang tao. Pero aminin din naman natin na may mga tao rin talaga na halos lahat ng events or kaganapan nila sa buhay is pinupost nila sa social media. Hindi naman dahil sa like gusto nilang magpasikat or naghahanap sila ng attention, kundi nagpapahayag lang sila ng kanilang sarili or self-expression. Kumbaga, pinapakita nila rito kung sino sila or ano ba sila. Like, yung social media is ginagawa nilang diary. So, halimbawa dito, yung mga social media influencer na makikita natin sa online like YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok. Next is benefits of social media usage. Facebook and Twitter differ from traditional web applications, as pages are easy to create and edit. So it means madali siyang gawin or hindi siya ganun kakomplikado. And pwede siyang i-customize based on your preference. Next is are easily accessible. So it means madaling puntahan at gamitin ng mga tao. Lalo na ngayon may mga lolo at lola tayong hindi maalam sa social media. So kayang-kaya na nila ito ma-access para makipagsabayan at magamit ito sa pakikipag-communicate sa kanilang kamag-anak o mga kaibigan. At posible rin nila itong maging libangan. Next is promote and support mobility. So dito, pinapadali nito ang paggalaw ng impormasyon at pakikipag-ugnayan kahit nasaan ka. Halimbawa rito yung mga news sa ibang bansa about war. Mas nagiging aware tayo na may ganito at ganyan na nangyayari sa ibang bansa. And pwede rin dito sa local ito nga yung sunod-sunod na paglindol at yung issue regarding sa corruption in flood control project. And last is have a real-time communication and are free or cost-effective. These benefits encourage the increasing adoption of these applications. So, kumbaga, wala tayong binabayaran para makapag-communicate sa pamilya, kaibigan, at mga relatives natin. And ngayon, yung online class natin is libre lang natin siyang nagagamit at may natututunan pa tayo.
Digital over physical. A digital identity has the potential to live forever, where in the physical world, we are faced with death. An online identity remembered for how it interacted in a particular time in digital environment. The difference between online identity remained dormant for decades and still have a potential to influence, inspire, and generate new concepts or thoughts. This tends not to happen decades after the death of a person in the physical world. And in simple terms, ang digital ay kayang mabuhay magpakailanman and ang physical naman is may hangganan. And ang example naman ng digital over physical is a buying video games. Instead of purchasing physical disc, you can download the game directly to your computer, which offer greater convenience and saves space. How to manage social media profiles. First, follow that college account and that business account you find in scavenger hunt. Saying their posts will inspire you to follow, show on your goals, and that get familiarized is what is going on at that campus or in that industry. Ang pag-follow niya sa college account and yung business account na nakita niya sa scavenger hunt is makakatulong sa inyo para makakuha ng impormasyon or para makakuha kayo ng inspirational posts na makakatulong sa inyo in the future. Bibigyan ko kayo ng halimbawa. Nakita mo sa scavenger hunt ang official account ng RTU at yung business account ng Jollibee. Ipa-follow mo sila para makita mo yung mga post nila. Like RTU, nagpo-post sila ng student achievements o ng Jollibee, mag-share sila ng job opening. Dahil sa pag-follow mo sa kanila, makakakuha ka ng inspiration o motivation na tuparin yung goal mo. Like, gusto ko mag-aral sa RTU o gusto ko mag-work sa Jollibee. Plus, malalaman mo rin yung latest updates sa RTU campus o sa Jollibee. Second, use social media to reach out the organization that may help you to achieve your college and career pathway goals. Gamitin mo ang social media para makipag-ugnayan sa mga organization na makakatulong sa iyo sa college man or sa career. Halimbawa, gusto mong mag-nurse sa future. Pwede kang mag-message sa nursing organization sa Facebook o sa Instagram para magtanong tungkol sa scholarship, internship, o sa career tips. Pwede kang mag-PM sa kanila like, "Hi, ano pong requirements para makapasok sa nursing program?" Makakatulong to sa'yo para madali mong maabot ang mga goals mo sa buhay. Third, interact more with the people you identify who are supportive of your goals and spend time with them in person. Social media can help you network, but make sure it's not the only way to interact with your supporters. Dito is, need mo lang makipag-bonding sa mga taong sumusuporta sa'yo. Like, hindi lang dapat sa online that makita mo din sila sa personal. And kahit nakakatulong sa'yo ang social media para mas lalo mong makilala ang tao, dapat may face-to-face interaction pa din. Fourth, try to keep everything you share on social media clean and professional and keep your publicly shared content minimal. Panatiliin mong malinis at maayos ang post mo sa social media. Iwasan ang hindi magandang content like pagpo-post ng kabastusan at huwag kang masyadong maging overshare para safe ka or para maganda ang image mo sa social media. And fifth, always be kind. Panatiliin mong maging mabait sa kapwa mo and kahit may nasasabi na sa'yo, huwag mong pansinin, mag-focus ka lang sa goals mo.
And next, we have a 7-step to creating a positive digital footprint. Number 1, Google yourself. If anything's come up in your Google search that you won't want anybody to see, remove it as soon as possible. Oh, mommy. mami, yung mga nagwa-watch dyan sa Google, na para bang, and yung mga sinesearch yung mga taka-topless, mami, kung ayaw nyo makita, remove na agad. And next, we have a use Facebook wisely. Check your privacy settings and make sure you know how others view your timeline. Don't post nude pictures or picture of you drinking, and be aware of photos you're tagged in. Number 2 talaga 'to, mga mami, dahil sa mga panahon ngayon, dapat maging maingat tayo sa mga pino-post natin, lalo na't merong mga taong ginagamit ang mga picture ng isang tao at manghihiram ng pera para makapang-scam na akala mo kaibigan mo pero hindi pala. And next, we have a take charge of your photos. Review and remove any inappropriate image. Adjust your privacy settings to control who sees them, and actively share positive photos that showcase your achievement and passion. And be mindful, guys, of what you post, and avoid sharing sensitive or embarrassing content. And next, we have don't overshare. Especially yung password mo, mami. Selective about granting permission to mobile apps, and restrict what information they can access. Lalo na yung number natin, dahil uso na uso pa rin ang mga scams nga, yung mga mami at mga ginagamit na number ng ibang tao para mga scam. And next, monitoring linking account. When you link your account, Facebook or Twitter account to that news sites, you may not realize or care at the moment what you're giving it access to. For monitoring link account, link financial account to view and manage finances in one place. Edit or unlink account as needed, and keep login credential updated for security. At pang-anim, use secondary email. It can be useful to have secondary email address whether you're communicating with someone new or signing up for a new social media platform. Mahalaga rin ito, mami, kasi baka akala nyo kapag isang email lang okay na. No, secondary email can serve as a backup for important notification such as password reset, emails, or security alerts. Keep your personal and professional email separate by using a secondary email for work-related communication. And lastly, think before you click, kasi hindi mo namamalayan, click ka ng click ng kung anong-ano mga app. Mamaya pag clinic mo sa app na yon, or yung mga parang ads na nasa labas sa mga phone natin, baka ma-auto-access pa lang sa mga personal identification mo, sa sobrang curious mo doon. Kaya clinic mo. O edi nalaman na yung mga information mo at nagka-virus na yung phone mo. Kaya mahalaga talagang mag-think before you click, ate. Meron pa nga sa clip, may mag-tab ka, bigla mong may nalabas na, congratulations, nanalo ka ng 1 million, ganyan, may iPhone 17 ka. Eh ikaw, utu-utu ka. Clinic mo, tas pag click mo, ibang 1 million nangyayari. And that's all, guys. Thank you for listening. Bye.